Hey guys, what's up? It's MAZIE with Barbecue by MAZIE. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. If you're new here and if you're coming back, I sure do appreciate the support. All right, I love a good steak. Before I got my smoker, I could not cook a decent steak. I don't know what the heck I was doing, but it wasn't right. When I started learning how to use my smoker though, I heard of the reverse sear. Basically, the reverse sear is you're cooking your steak at a lower temperature until you reach your desired doneness, and then you're doing a quick sear on the meat. The reason a reverse sear works so well is that it cooks your meat evenly and you have more control over the doneness of your steak. So the reverse sear method is similar to sous vide. Did I say that correctly? The reverse sear can be done outside on your grill or inside your house in your oven. You're going to cook it at a low temperature. I like to stick around 225, 250. Today we'll be smoking it at 250 on the Pit Boss, and then we're going to sear it. So there are going to be many different ways that you can sear at the end. I am going to show you how I do it on the Pit Boss over the open flame, but you could do it over hot cast iron, just any way that you're going to really just make it. You're just going to make something super hot so you can sear the outside of your meat at the very end. Now I am going to show you something else that I do with my steaks that's called dry brine. If you're not interested in the dry brine, just fast forward a little bit. I'm going to show you what I do. The reason I dry brine is, well, there's really a couple advantages. For one, the salt acts as a natural tenderizer for the steak, so that's always nice. Another benefit is it does create a stellar, dude, it is stellar sear. I have noticed a huge difference when I don't dry brine my steaks. There's just something about the crust that is just better. You could do it 1 to 3 days in advance. I don't think I would push it more than 3 days. You're flirting with danger at that point, and I don't want you to get sick. The thickness of your steaks is obviously going to play a role in how long the reverse sear process is going to take. My steaks are like, I don't know, an inch and a half. So I'm expecting this to take about an hour to hour and a half. All right, so let's get going on these steaks. I am out here in my jammies, ready to dry brine. If you don't know what dry brining is, you're basically taking kosher salt and you're putting it on your steaks ahead of time. So I'm cooking these tonight. You could do it 24, 48 hours ahead of time. And I'm just applying as much salt as I'm okay with eating because I am not going to rinse this off or anything. This is a pretty thick piece of ribeye here, so I'm okay with going a little heavier on the salt. All right, so that is the dry brine. You don't want to use like table salt. You want to use coarse kosher salt. So I want to point out that I do have the steaks on this wire rack. That's so that the air can circulate around the steaks. I'm going to go put these in the fridge until dinner time. So you guys have a good day. So here are our dry brine steaks. I'm just going to spritz them with a teensy bit of olive oil. And I have just got a steak seasoning. It's from Pit Boss Chop House Steak. And I'm just going to sprinkle that on. Remember, we do have our salt on here. These steaks dry brine for about 10 hours today. Okay, they're ready for the smoker. So we're at the smoker. I'm using my Pit Boss Navigator. Okay, so we've got our steak in the smoker. The smoker's running at 250 degrees. So I'm going to start checking on them in about 1 hour. Feels like a really good time to go crack a cold Diet Coke. I'll see you guys back out here in about an hour to see the temp on these ribbies. Bye. Let's take a little look-see at these steaks. I've got my Thermopin from ThermoWorks. It is the most necessary barbecue tool I have. We're gonna take a temperature kind of here at the center of the steak. This one is about 120. So at this point, you are just smoking it to your desired doneness. Now, I contemplated whether I should even make a steak on YouTube because I don't need your trolls coming after me, telling me that my steak is too done or too underdone. Guess what? The cool thing about cooking your own steak at home is you get to cook it however you want to cook it. So I'm going to take mine to about 135. The searing portion of the cook is just a quick sear. So your sear really shouldn't cook your steak too much more. All right, so let's let these cook a little bit longer and come check on them in un momento. I have checked the temperature of these steaks and they are looking good. So now I'm just gonna take them off and turn up the grill. On the Pit Boss, I'm going to turn it to 400. I've just got this sear slide. You just open it and I've got my flame right there. So if you're cooking on the Pit Boss, crank the heat up. If you're not cooking on a Pit Boss, make sure that you have your cast iron hot and ready to go at this point, because you're going to want to take your steaks and go sear them now. All right, the moment you've been waiting for. The sear. I'm kidding, but I really enjoy searing on my Pit Boss. There's just something about those flames coming up and kissing that steak. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, so I've got the fire rip-roaring behind me, so let's get these steaks seared. Just gonna put our steaks right over that flame, let them both get a nice sear. You guys, I seriously love the Pit Boss for this reason. The newer ones are gonna have these slides that you just can open it right to the flame. I love it. Don't wanna get your arm hairs burnt off here. I just want to show you that sear. Look at that. I like a little char on my steak, so for me this is perfect. Those charred bits are just so freaking good. All right, let's sear the other side now. Let's slice into this one. I'm gonna cut a couple strips here. My mouth is watering. This ribeye is so tender, it's so moist. It really is moist, I can't believe it. I'm gonna give the people what they want, I'm gonna taste it. Oh my gosh. Whoa! That, I gotta have one more bite. Oh my God. Let me tell you what makes this steak so good. The meat is super tender, and this crust, you guys, you gotta put the effort into getting that crust because it makes it so yummy. It's important. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, that is good. Woo! There's a reason I use the reverse sear method every single time, because it cooks a perfect steak every single time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I made a reverse seared steak. Delicious. If you are enjoying my content, please consider subscribing. I appreciate this support so much. If you hit that bell, you won't miss a minute of action, and I would appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your day, and until next time, ta-ta for now. Me running to my steak. A bean.